All right, so we will get started. Good morning, West Coast. Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Judy Affat, and I currently lead the public sector education team here at CDW Canada. Today we also have Darren Hewitt, who is our Adobe specialist, and he will be leading this webinar. A few things to keep in mind before we get started. If you have any questions throughout the session, please send them through the chat window, which is usually located on the right-hand side of the WebEx. We will have all attendees on mute until the Q&A portion at the end of the session. So yes, we will be reading your questions and answering them to the best of our ability. Again, thank you for joining us today. Enjoy.
Excellent. Thank you, Judy. And again, good morning to everyone on the West Coast and good afternoon to everyone out this way. My name is Darren Hewitt. As Judy mentioned, I am the in-house Adobe Solutions Specialist for CDW Canada. My role here is to effectively work through all Adobe licensing questions and ensure you as our customers are getting exactly what you need for your end users. So with that, we'll move right along. All right. Can everyone hear me okay now? Excellent. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. So moving forward, just speaking to Adobe Solutions as far as K-12 users will go. Again, Adobe wants to keep on the forefront of allowing these users the best access to their applications as things move. So Adobe Creative Cloud includes many, many different applications designed to do many different tasks that your students will create, from presentations to videos to photos, all the way to web design. There we go. So as you can see, there's many Creative Cloud applications available for many different tasks that your students may encounter. Through many different parts of your curriculum, these tools will be used. So what are the benefits of Adobe VIP licensing for ERAC members? Effectively, we want to give you access to the best creative apps that are available, give you the best updates, where you're able to build the skills for all of your users and your staff and faculty for success moving forward. All of these licenses are going to be put in a web-based admin console for you for simplified management, and we're going to give you a predictable cost and savings compared to commercial offerings that Adobe has in place today. So getting right down to it, these are essentially the offerings that are available for the K-12 classroom at this time. If you're looking for a lab type deployment, you'll be able to buy the Creative Cloud Shared Device License, or you will be able to buy the Creative Cloud Legacy Device License. If your users require BYOD style deployments, if you're using laptop carts, or if you want more mobile apps and more access for your users, you will require the Creative Cloud named user licenses. These licenses are sold on a per school basis, on a per district basis, or as individual licenses. And we'll get a little deeper into each of these right now. So speaking to licenses that are required in lab environments, we offer the Legacy Device License option. This particular license includes all of the desktop Creative Cloud applications. It does not include any cloud services or access. Furthermore, your users are not required to log in whatsoever, but they do not have any home use rights or bring your own device options. Effectively, this is installed directly on the device and works similar to a serial key type install where the device itself is licensed for any anonymous use for any of your users. The key pieces of information to really keep in mind about these legacy device licenses is that you can only install the 2018 versions of Creative Cloud with this license type. There are no updates available whatsoever beyond that option, and there will not be. Secondly, if you do purchase these license types, you will need to renew them next year prior to August 31st, as they will be end of life September 1st, 2020. By 2021, you will be forced to migrate to the shared device license option, which we will discuss in a little bit. Installs for this particular product are built using the Adobe Creative Cloud Packager tool. This is a tool downloaded by the administrator directly to a desktop. There is a Windows version and a Mac version depending on the installs you require. The Creative Cloud Packager will build your install packets, and you can use any SCCM type services to deliver the packets of which you create. This offering is for the All Apps product only. There are no single apps options, nor is Acrobat Pro available under this program. Minimums for this particular license type: as a school, your minimum is 100 licenses. As a district, your minimum is 500 licenses. We can also sell these individually. And again, we'll get into how these quantities break down in pricing a little bit further along. Moving on to the shared device option. This is the second generation of Adobe's device offerings and is the follow-on to the legacy device of which. Again, we're going to give you all of the Creative Cloud desktop apps that are available. The big difference here is a user login is 100% required for this particular license type. There are no home use rights, and again, BYOD is not an option for this particular license type. Shared device license does require a user login, which means identity management has to be put in place for this particular install. You're able to choose either a federated ID type identity management system or an enterprise ID. With this particular license type, the install packages are created through the web console itself. And within the web console, Adobe provides you with many different templates already pre-built that you can send off, once again, through SCCM type services and tools. This again is an all apps product only. There are no single applications available under this program, nor is Acrobat Pro available. As far as minimum quantities go, this follows the same basis as the legacy device license, where schools are required to buy a minimum of 100 licenses. Districts are required to buy a minimum of 500 licenses, and you can also buy these. So just reviewing quickly the legacy versus the shared device. The new shared device license includes a number of different online and mobile applications. Adobe Premiere Rush being one of the newest vehicles Adobe has put out there for quick and easy video and image editing for social media and posts and that type of activity. Again, shared device licenses do require user login, where the legacy device license does not. If you're going to bring your own device environment or have laptop carts or looking for users to have a one-on-one device type ratio, you will be required to purchase the Adobe named license option. This particular option does come again with all of the applications available. It also comes with all the cloud services, all the cloud access, as well as user storage if desired. A user login is required. These licenses do include home use rights, and bring your own device is allowed under this particular license type. These site licenses, again, must be used under a federated or enterprise ID authentication system. The site licenses are all labs only. There are no single licenses available under the site license program. You can, however, buy these licenses on a per license basis. Adobe does sell all of the applications available under a single app plan or under an all apps plan. Now, if your user ever requires 2 or more applications, the all apps plan is in fact going to be less expensive in any case. For the site licenses under this program, the school site license minimum is quantity 500. The district site license minimum is quantity 2,500. And again, it's available a la carte on a per license basis. Quick walkthrough on the Adobe IDs, enterprise IDs, and federated IDs. Adobe does not allow the Adobe ID requirement under K-12 licenses. Only the enterprise ID or federated ID policies are allowed. And effectively, this is because the institution themselves control the access for users. And secondly, it allows Adobe to filter the correct content to your K-12 users. So how does this plan out? As far as an enterprise ID is concerned, it is a password stored by Adobe. The account is owned by the organization, and the email must be within the domain of the school or district itself. These policies are configurable on the admin console, and the users would create their password for login. Under the federated ID system, the organization effectively owns all of the information. The password, the account, the email, and the password policy itself are all governed by the institution or the school, and there's no action required on the user to create a password because they're already in a single sign-on organization. So a quick review of these 3 different license types put together. Again, legacy device licenses, I have to stress, only available in the 2018 version. Cannot install the 2019. If you do attempt a 2019 version install under this license type, it will crash the install altogether. The shared license type, the shared device license type, and the name user type are all up to date and continually up to date throughout the year. You can see the minimums listed on the per school or per district site license pieces there. And again, this walks you through all the different details as far as work from home rights, BYOD, and if a user login is. So as far as deployment options go, understanding right now that most ERAC members are under a legacy or older Adobe ETLA agreement using serial key installs. Any new license type purchased under the VIP programs are going to result in an uninstall required for the existing installs and then a reinstall of the new license types themselves. If you happen to go through with the legacy device license, again, that would require a download of the Creative Cloud Packager to the admin's desktop. You create the packages as required. Those go onto the devices through SCCM type services, and then they're installed. On first launch of the applications themselves, that is when the install registers back to your admin console, and the device system name will register in the console. That name is not configurable and cannot be changed. So the inherent system name of the device itself will be reported back to the web console itself. For the Creative Cloud shared device license and for the Creative Cloud named user license, the system really works the same way. Based on the fact that identity has to be set up for your users, there are a number of ways to do this and a number of different identity schemes that Adobe works with, from single sign-on from Okta, from Google Active Directory, from Azure Active Directory, and a number more. So simply set up your identity methods, add your admins, then upload your users. From there, you can create your packages, define the access policies to those packages, and then deploy them. Again, these installs do require an uninstall of your existing serial installs. So to walk through these offers as far as a pricing standpoint goes, if you were to purchase the licenses individually, here's the MSRPs listed on adobe.com in US dollars. A named all apps license is about $420. Single app named is about $180, and an all apps shared device license is $330. If you wanted to purchase a site license, the all apps named license has an MSRP of $5 US per user, and the all apps shared device is $25 US per device. So taking into account the minimums we discussed earlier with both the school site licenses and the district site licenses, we can show you that each year on a per school basis or on a per district basis, your minimum investment on a yearly basis is $2,500 US per school, $12,500 per district. If you were to compare the site licenses versus the individual licenses, as a school, as soon as you need 6 named licenses, buying 500 through the site license program is in fact the less expensive option. Under the device program, as soon as you need 7 devices in a single school, it is in fact cheaper to get 100 licenses under the device license policy. Speaking of the districts, works the same way. As soon as the district itself requires 30 named licenses across all schools, buying 2,500 of them is in fact cheaper under the site license policy. As for the device, it goes at 38 devices required. As soon as you hit that number for the district, buying 500 under the device site license policy, again, is in fact less expensive. So we're going to walk you through the process of how Adobe works these VIP contracts, how the contract starts, and again, how it in fact renews. So Adobe will set up your first contract. Everything will always be at a 12 months duration or more. For the most part, most customers go with a 12-month duration, especially in the K-12 segment. So your contract starts from your first order date, and 12 months later, you're given a 60-day renewal window. The renewal window starts 29 days before your anniversary date, and it ends 29 days after your anniversary date. A couple of ordering notes. Your first order needs to be for 12 months or more. The site licenses must be placed on one single purchase order. Adobe does not allow multiple purchase orders for that particular license type. And again, the site license orders must be greater than the minimum quantities that have been described. So walking you through this, if we were to start a contract tomorrow on August 22nd, and you make license purchases at that point, that would be when your anniversary date would be for your contract. It would end up being August 22nd, 2020. Your renewal window would start next year, July 23rd, 2020, and you must renew before September 21st, 2020. Now, what CDW Canada has gone ahead and done, and did so a few months ago, understanding the requirements for ERAC and moving off of their ETLA account, we in fact went ahead and created contracts for 30 different ERAC members with a start date of July 14th, 2019. Now, why is that a good thing? That means if you are to purchase your licenses this month before September 13th under these contracts, your initial contract purchase is only going to be for 10 months because we are co-terming to the same end date of these already created contracts. So what this would look like for ERAC members is your first purchase would be this month of this year. You would only pay 10 months for that particular duration. And next year, your renewal window is going to start June 15th, 2020, and you must place your renewal order prior to August 13th, 2020. So we're hoping those dates really fit the downtime for the summer school season and vacation, and where most IT people are doing their work, redeploying these and assessing user case scenarios. We feel these dates are really in line with what the K-12 users require. So in the end, on this first year, we'll be able to provide these licenses to you at about a 16% discount because you're not paying for 2 months where you didn't use the licenses. How do you get started under this program? It's quite simple. You place your order with CDW. We would assess, make sure the contract is created under your name, and immediately give the admins to that particular contract access to begin either creating their users or planning their deployment for device licenses. Once the order is placed, the order is processed, the licenses will populate into the console, and from there, the IT admins can begin to deploy the licenses and distribute to their end users or devices as required. As far as resources for your actual educators, the Adobe Education Exchange is a very, very comprehensive website with a number of different tools, all the way from their own professional development to teaching materials, including course curriculums, course ideas, project ideas, and so on. So again, there's a lot of resources there for your teachers themselves to use these products and get the most out of them within their classroom. Again, more details on Adobe support. A lot of those are going to be more on the administrator side. Adobe does provide full end-to-end deployment resources for those of you who are doing the installs. You can, under the shared device license policy as well as the named device license policy, have full up and running and deployment WebExes one-on-one with an Adobe expert. Adobe TV is another resource that can be used for both students and teachers for more ideas, more creativity, and many, many, many product tutorials available for all of your users. Again, more details allowing your students, your teachers, your faculty to learn more about the products, what's available to them beyond what the applications do themselves. And from there, I'd like to open up to any questions that might be available. I believe we have a question. This question is regarding feature-restricted licensing that Adobe may or may not be rolling out at this point. The answer to that question is yes, Adobe does have a feature-restricted license type. It unfortunately is only available for government customers. Adobe has not rolled that product out to education customers, either in the K-12 segment or the higher ed segment, based on the device license policies that already exist in the pricing programs that are in place. There's no decision at this point to see the feature-restricted licenses for education customers.
there are no more questions, thank you, Darren, and everyone who joined us today. I hope you found this session helpful. We do have a recording of the webinar if you wish to share with other members of your team, or if you'd like to review once more. If you need anything quote-related or you have any questions, please reach out to your respective account manager. And thank you for joining us. Have a great day.